Hello, everyone. Lovely divas out there. I know we are a little late, but that's just because we have lots of family commitments. We are coming back from the work. So many things happened during the way, during the planned stuff. But that's all right. Now we are here and we can get started. I'm giving just a few seconds to let everyone join, and then we can start talking about our topic.
Sure.
Because raising our little ones, definitely, no matter how old, how big they grow, they are still our little ones in our journey of motherhood, of our parenting, or as an educator. And it's a beautiful journey filled with love, laughter, sometimes a learning curve for ourselves.
True.
But remember, we are together in this. And this month, we have been speaking a little bit about or chatting a little bit about peer influence in children. Um, there's a big story behind it, why I chose this topic. Simply, to put in a simple words, I would say because I've been getting a lot of clients lately in my practice, and every time I've been getting the clients, I've been getting problems with the behavioral changes. They are talking about the games that one child have and other doesn't have, and that creates a frustration in their behavior, and also the kind of online safety. Um, we have so much digital going on these days, but how we can ensure that it is the influence of one child does not impact the influence of other child. And I have plenty of reasons to talk about it. But trust me, that was a really hitting area for me, when I work with the 13-year, 14-year child. And I was like, let me really talk about it with you all and grab a kind of understanding, your experiences, and then take it forward, how we can talk and discuss and, help influence to work in a positive way rather than a negative way. And for the same purpose, we have two beautiful inspirational divas with us. Um, Definitely, as a part of the event, you must have seen or gone through their profile, but I would give them chance one by one, to introduce and tell us about themselves, and then we will start going from there. So thank you so much, Netika and Priya, for joining us together. Netika, let's start with you.
Thanks, Pooja. Thanks. I am privileged to be here, and I know you inspire so many people each and every day. I do get inspired by your
Thank you.
work and the posts you do. And myself, about me, I'm Nitika. I am mother of two boys, aged 22 and 12, and I work as a bookkeeper full time. And then I have a side, like I help people with their health journey as well. So yeah, this is what I do, and like looking forward to help many more, and like share my experiences here with the boys.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Netika, for the lovely introduction. And now over to you, Priya.
Hi, my name is Priya Vani. I'm also a mom of two kids. My daughter, she is 18, and I have a young one, 12 years old. Um, I'm an educator. I have my own small company named Einstein Kids Abacus, where I deal with many students for last 9 years. I deal with kids all the way from four and a half, all the way up to 15, 16 years of age. Just teach them with different segments in the maths area. So that's what I do. And it's pleasure to be a part of this forum today. Happy to share my experiences, what I deal with students, what students tells me, how parents deal with them and things like that. So happy to be a part of it, and just my pleasure to be part of it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Priya. I really appreciate you both taking time out of your busy evenings from your both of you are having separate other than your morning 9 to 5 types of job or
Yes.
business. You have evening schedule as well in your life, so I really appreciate that for the purpose of moms out here and for everyone. You are spending time with us to discuss this important topic. Before moving ahead, I would like to invite all the viewers right now to start thinking about why it is important for you to talk about peer influence. Peer influence in your children, peer influence in your own self, and how we can equip our children for better social dynamics, for resilience, for their development, for their healthy relationships. What problem do you see with the influence in children going forward? We would like to have your opinions. What are your thoughts, experiences? How do you tackle when you see these problems in your life, in your family settings? Uh, and if you have any questions going forward, please feel free to ask here so we can answer or we can at least discuss. If not answer, at least we can discuss this here with these lovely divas. Okay, let's get started with my first question. Nitika,
Yeah.
um, I'm talking a lot about peer influence. How would you like to define peer influence in your experiences? Have you ever seen any examples, or what are the common ways that it gets manifested for you?
Yes. So, Pooja, what I would like to say here is the basic human nature is that we want to get loved, accepted, and recognized. So, like, this is the basic human nature. And in my opinion, peer pressure is something you do without thinking whether it is good or bad, just to be in this, to be loved, to be accepted, and to be recognized. So this is how I think the peer pressure is about, and this is how the kids get influenced very easily and flown flown away by their friends or peers. Like, they want to copy them, what the other person is doing, without thinking whether it is good or bad for them.
Yeah,
And so why and why what manifest is like, again, the same thing. They want to fit in, they want to be accepted, and to avoid any kind of rejection from their peers. So
yeah,
I face this with my younger one, using the, like like he wants to play video games, and there are kids who have, like, in our house it is very much uh, like very much in discipline, like you are allowed to play for 1 hour, suppose. But then in some the other kids would be playing at night 9 o'clock, and then here is the thing where pressurizes us as a parent, because we cannot allow our son to do something that other one is doing. So
yeah.
it's a bit challenging always, and like, we do overcome it with different type of coming out with different types of solutions for that.
Yeah, yeah. That's a very good example, Nitika, because I see and hear it all the time. My friend is playing the games from this to this, or like night by 1:30 in the middle of the night, the friends are playing game. And why can't I play till 10? Why can't I play till 11? So I get those questions even in my home settings at times. Of course, we have different tools to cooperate with this problem, but this is a very apt and to the point kind of example that you have started the conversation with. So, 100%, I totally agree with that one. Um, before moving ahead, Priya, I would like to know your thoughts as well on this one. How you, because you act as an educator itself. It's not one child, two child. You deal with a lot of children at everyday
Yeah.
practice. How do you see? How do you? First question is, how do you define peer pressure or peer influence? Not even pressure, peer influence, and what does it manifest in most of the children that you see?
The peer pressure, in the other words, if I say, it's more of getting an influenced by others, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's a positive way or negative way. So it's not just always the negative that what we're looking at into it.
Yeah.
We also look at the positive way as well.
Yeah.
Yes, that is right. Like many, so to start it, I'll say that many students, parents as well, like to see as what others doing it, and they think that sometimes what if the others do it, then it's good for their child. If they see that their child is intelligent or their child has achieved something, the other parents might also like to do pretty much the same thing as well. And I believe that sometimes also put the pressures on the kids as well. But I'll say every child is different. Every child in their own is unique and
Mm-hmm.
different. So to have to just to say that peer pressure is sometimes not just from the kids internal itself as well. I think sometimes it comes from the parents as well, as
Yeah.
what activity to do, what not to do. And of course I'm talking about like probably when they are like in a young age. Of course when they grow up they have their own thoughts and things like that. But peer pressure is certainly something that has influence, has lots of influence in the kids,
Yeah.
positive and negative, both of them.
Yeah. That's a very good point, Priya, because that's what I was wondering. And we do talk about with the parents many times as well in our family workshops. Like, if you are doing the kind of comparison between, like, he's getting like A grade. Why are you not getting A grade? How come you are be on the B grade, or you are not picking up this subject? He has picked up this subject. Look, he's playing soccer out there. You are not going to play soccer. Why are you playing these musical instruments? These are very little small kind of things that we say unintentionally and unconsciously as a parents, but at the same time we don't realize what kind of modeling that presence in front of our children. And very aptly pointed out, Priya, that many times it starts from the parents itself. um,
True.
what
Just
other, yeah, sorry, go
Now,
ahead.
just to add your point as well, so the kids always thinks in their own way. Kids
Yeah.
always thinks in their own way. But
Yeah.
you are correct that once it starts sometimes from home and
Hmm.
then it goes out into the schools.
Yeah.
So I will say, Pooja, what you said is exactly correct. Like sometimes even it's not purposely but unpurposely as well, we do say the things to the kids that and when we speak our brain does probably sometimes not use the correct words. So it's absolutely important for us to make sure that child understands,
Yeah.
and what we saying it to them is what, as a parent, we know our child the best, not others.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Before I move on with the next question that I got from one of our diva before the start of the session, so I
Yeah.
will ask this that question. But before that, let me ask these questions to my divas who have joined us virtually on our live show. What do you think is the main contributing factor in the peer influence for our children? Is it really from the moms or dads, like from our parenting, that they are taking it forward? Or is it the role of media? Is it online interactions that the children are taking or learning that, yes, I have to copy my friends or be like them? Or is it something else going on as a hidden agenda hidden, yeah, agenda or stuff that we need to tackle differently. So do let us know your thoughts by the time we are continuing this question that you and me, and then we'll take it forward, like how and what we can do as a tips. Okay, so Nitika, I have this question for you specifically. Somebody asked me because they knew that you both going to be the forum. So as a mom, how does this peer influence change as the children grow older and as they progress through different stages of schooling? From really tiny toddlers to the primary school to the high school, and then going to the uni. How do you see that peer influence changing?
So, definitely, Pooja, as the kids grow up, the peer influence changes. Like, their needs are different and their peer pressure is different. But as they go towards teenage, adolescence, their so the peer pressure, the ways of the if the ways by which they are being affected by their friends definitely changes. So it can again be negative and positive things, and it is more about, like, afterwards it is more about getting after school jobs as their friends are doing after school jobs. So sometimes it is good as well as like negative as well as positive impact on it. Like sometimes you need to focus more on studies instead of going to work every day, as in when you are in your growing years, you are in high school. So everything has a positive and negative effect on it. Then it comes to spending money, saving money. Then the car they drive, once they grow up, the car they drive, so there's a peer pressure of that, like which car are you driving, which car am
Yeah,
I driving. And
yeah,
then it also comes down to the brand of clothes, like when they are 16, 17, like which
yeah,
brand of clothes my friend is wearing, I am wearing, and all those things. And
yeah,
goes on, it goes on, the list goes on. So I'll give you one example here. When my son, the young elder one, he started earning, like he started doing jobs, and one day, like he was around 19, one day he came up to me and he said, can I invest in Bitcoin? And I was like, oh, Riju and myself never thought about it, and never, like, we didn't do it. And then how did it came? And it was definitely through his friend.
yeah,
And I thought, first I thought about it, and then no, let him learn from his own experiences. And then I asked him, how much do you want to like invest in that? And he said $95 something, he said. And I said, let him learn from his own experiences. And I let it go. Like I said, okay, do it, whatever you want to do, just experience it. And
yeah,
then 6 months later, when I asked him about, like, how did you go with that money you invested, and he said no, it was not good. So it would be for his life, that experience will count for life.
yeah,
So like sometimes it is good. And similarly, like when they have there are few kids, when they have similar interest together, friends, and they decided to save money for a trip. So
yeah,
like I saw him working very hard. Last full year he worked very, very hard. And as and when he got money, he they sponsored themselves for a whole 1 month trip to Europe. So it was a proud moment for us as well, because then he was, like, he didn't ask even a dollar from us, and he
yeah,
was able to save that. He was so there, that was also peer pressure, like like a kind of peer pressure, but in a positive way.
yeah.
So
So
yeah.
one thing I would just highlight for the purpose of this, overall objective and the agenda, um, in my, you both are there to correct me if I'm wrong, but in my opinion, there is a little difference between peer pressure and the peer influence. And when we are talking about the peer influence, this is about the overall how one peer can influence the life of the other children, other in this context children, that could be positive or negative. When it turns out negative, then it becomes a kind of peer pressure. When it
Yes.
has negative consequences attached with that influence, that becomes a negative. So if you both agree with me, then probably we can use the term peer influence rather
Yes.
than the pressure, because I just don't want to create a kind of that mindset that we are talking about, that negative consequences, just um, in general, I would say.
I just would like to say that peer pressure is certainly is there in the kids. What Nitika said is correct, that it has a both plus and negative. So
Yeah,
peer pressure probably is negative. Peer influence is something positive in
yeah,
that case.
yeah,
Peer pressure sometimes it works more from the schools, and
yeah,
I'll say that as the child grows up, probably they do have more understanding, and they also see as a family as how we as a family deal with the kids. I'll
yeah,
also say that the more the child is loved by the parents, more the child is more comfortable at home to share
yeah,
the purpose. I think that peer pressure might bring it down,
yeah,
uh, probably. That's what I have seen it with my kids. They are very comfortable sharing any experience with me. So the home environment, what we have it for the kids more comfortable, the kids getting it at home to speak with them, probably spending a good quality time with them might help that peer pressure a little bit less on the kids.
yeah. Okay.
So that's what I think, that peer pressure, how it is. Now, just an example, when I deal with the young kids and examples. Okay, you have a Nintendo. I don't have a Nintendo to at my home. Something very common. Okay, you
Exactly.
have Xbox, you have PS3, or you have so and so and so. Okay,
Yeah,
if I want to come to your home to play, I only want to make sure that you have so and so gadgets.
yeah,
For
yeah,
me to come to play. But it goes over as when the parents have a good relationship with the child and explain as what it is. So
yeah,
peer
yeah.
pressure is certainly there, but Nitika is right as well that the influence is positive influence is there, which is good in that way.
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm totally up with this. And Nitika, I must say that you have shared totally apt and a practical kind of example with all of us, because for us, where whose children are like in that age, 18, 19, 17, 18, 19 onwards, we are seeing that kind of behavior. My elder one is 17 plus. So I can see that enthu of working out, enthu of, earning money for himself, or saving money for this trip or that trip, or this budget or that budget. And obviously all these things working as a kind of positive influence. The all the friends gang, they talk about one stuff, they talk about their plans. After finishing the HSC, we're gonna do this, let's do it together. And then when do it together, then take this and save for this and plan this. So I'm so happy to see that peer influence is working in a positive way for these examples that you have shared. um, but certainly it's not always rosy. There
Yes.
are plenty
True.
of negative influences and negative consequences attached with all this peer influence as well. So let us talk about a little bit of negative influences, Priya, from your side. What kind of negative exposures or experiences you heard from your educators or yourself? Anything that you want to share with?
Well, so peer pressure, I would like to suggest probably both ways, from the students as well as I will say from the parents as well. So I just don't want to like to talk about the students because when they are young, they
Yeah.
probably they probably just think as what parents thinks,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Not not as not as what they think. So
Yeah.
every time when I have a child in my institute, in my center.
Yeah.
And first thing I ask, do you know what we are doing here in the class? Like, why are you here? And what are we doing here in the class?
Yeah.
Also, 90% of my student does not know. They say, "Oh, my mom, dad want me to come here. My mom, dad's want has bought me here, and have no idea what it is." So
Yeah.
sometimes a little bit of explanation to the child that what we are doing, where are we going, why is this thing helpful to you when
Mm.
you learn certain things, is something that also is helpful. At the
Yeah.
same time, peer pressure, yes, I talk with my students a lot in the class. We do have these things. Peer pressure, recently in my classroom, I asked one of my students the same question, and they say, yes, my student put a peer pressure on the other student.
Okay.
And
That's
how is
interesting.
that? Okay, now you are friend with me only if you have so and so things at home.
Yeah.
He was like, I will be only making friends with those people who I have a mindset with that, who have
Yeah.
only certain things at their home, not with the others. I said, look, friends are not something that you deprive or you define with certain things. Friends
Yeah.
are something that we know who the friends is. Like you have a mutual thoughts with the friends. Or
Yeah.
and peer pressure in the young kids are so much, like as I explained that we have this, I have this, my friends going here, my friends going there, they're
Yeah.
wearing this kind of shoes, they're not wearing this kind of shoes, like they have this brand, they have these shoes, they are wearing those things, they're going here, they're going there, or their parents taking them to an Europe tour, they my parents going them to an US tour, and
Yeah.
so and so and so. There are lots of pressure, and they ask us other questions as a parent. Why are we not going there? Why
Yeah.
can't I have the shoes? Why can't I have the gadgets? Why can't I have
Yeah.
so and so and so? So that builds the pressures on the parents as well. That okay,
Mm.
to be in the society, to be dealing with the others, we need to have certain things in the house as well, so that we can
Yeah.
be with them. But I'll say it's not necessary to be in such a way. I say peer pressure from the child always comes. Just we need to make sure that we as parents educate the child in the right way.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I will say.
No, 100%. Yeah, Nitika, sorry, you were
I
saying
just
something.
want to add a point here regarding negative peer pressure. So it can be about studies as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if some
agree.
kid is not studying well in school, and like it's like they should at least do their homework. And like I experienced this because like how to explain, my kid is doing good at studies, but
Yeah.
then one of a friend is not studying at all. They are not like they are not asked by the parent to study at
Yeah.
home. And
Yeah.
he complains to me that he has a better life because he doesn't has to study at home.
Oh,
Right.
everyone brain works in the different way, isn't it? Everyone's brain works in the different way. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yes.
you are right, Nitika. Yes, yes, true. Agree.
How easily we start weighing the quality of our life, the quality of our happiness just because
True.
he has this and I don't
Yes.
have this.
So sometimes our life depends on the other people's life. Like we need to be happy because the child is happy. The child is happy because the peer is putting the pressure on them.
Yeah.
So it's all like a circle.
It's all like a
Because
circle.
we live in the society actually, and to be in the society, I believe that that something always will be there. But isn't it like if we not talk about the kids, sometimes as an adult also we get the same thing. So.
That's exactly my next question was is like, isn't it the same thing that we are doing here? Just take an example of what Nitika has shared in this moment about studying, because the parents of that child is not asking the child to study or just left it on his own, like if he studies that's fine, if he doesn't study that's fine. But
Hmm.
in our case, why it is really important, of course I'm not denying the importance of study, but as a parents, why, what is my purpose to tell my child to study, 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 study all the time? Is it not a kind of environment that me as a parent I'm creating? Is it a society that I have to reply to? Why I want my children to study, why I want my children to study like 95% of the time? Can they not achieve by studying in the 5% of the time? Can they not achieve their goals in 10% or 15%? Like a part of the time, they can plan it with the extracurricular activities, they can mix it with their hobbies, they can mix it with something else. So ultimately, my mind is really boggling in this moment and thinking out loud with you all, that is it parents, like we are putting our child into that vicious circle? I, again, I will repeat my words. I'm not denying the importance of study. I'm not denying the importance of any single thing against which the comparison is being done. But what is the purpose that we are trying to achieve? How many times we as a moms, as a parents, or maybe as an educators, we think we put our attention like, what is the purpose? If I'm asking my child not to buy Nintendo or to buy Nintendo, what is the purpose? Am I trying to give them a better ga- gaming experience? What is the purpose of that gaming experience? Why I want to give that? Why I don't want to give them? In my opinion, I'm just sharing my views. In my opinion, if we try finding the purpose behind our own actions, then I believe we can justify our actions as a matter of fact to our children. And they can also start thinking probably in that domain. Why my mom is asking me not to do this, or not to study, or to study? What I'm going to achieve with it? What is the fact behind it? What is the reasoning behind it? Isn't it?
Yes,
No,
I
that's
agree.
true, Pooja. Sorry, Nitika, you can continue.
It's okay. So I agree with you, Pooja. We should explain the kids, if we are not giving them Nintendo, then what's the purpose?
Yeah,
Like if we are asking them to study, then what's the purpose? So I agree
exactly.
with you. We should find a purpose for ourselves and for
Yeah,
the kids as well.
yeah.
That's
Priya, go
true.
for it.
I agree with Nitika and Pooja. What you both says is correct. We definitely need to look at the consequences as what happens when we tell our child something. I'll just say in one word, like strong relationship with our children. So
Yeah,
just a strong relationship with our children, so that our child knows that as a parent, if we are telling them something, that there's a reason behind us.
yeah,
And when they have a strong relationship with the parents, they definitely understand the parents and think in that way.
yeah.
Now the reason is like you had an example, Pooja, it's not either study or not for the Nintendo. It's more for us that we as a parent want our child to be more comfortable. So say an
Yes.
example of a Nintendo, right?
Yeah.
Or any gadgets like Nintendo or phone or um, Xbox, PS3, clothing,
Yeah.
shoes, whatsoever, right? We want our child to be more comfortable with
Yeah.
others. But at the
Yeah.
same time, we as a parents also need to notice that how much we have a spending capacity. It's not every
Yes.
parent has the same spending capacity. Nintendo might
Exactly.
cost around 200 or 300 or whatsoever.
Yeah.
But not every parent has the same spending capacity. At the same time, it put the pressure on the parents.
Yeah.
Need for my child to be at that comfort level, we need to get that one. But if we have a strong relationship with our child, then
Yeah.
explaining the child in the better way, understand, making the child understand in the better way, might solve the problems.
Yeah.
Regarding the study, yes, it's a for me, I don't force my child at all in the studies. What I tell them that what are always give an example to the students. Always, like okay. if we do this, this is better for them. If we do this, this is better for them. And sometimes the way we deal with the kids in a different way might help.
Yeah.
Going out, going outside and just relaxing and say, wow, can you see these things? Can you see, wow, the person has done it so good. So with
Mm.
an examples of that person, what that person has done and why is it important to do certain things will help a child a lot.
Yes.
So rather than approaching a child directly, just sometimes indirect way might help the child to
100%.
understand things in the better way.
Yeah, no, 100%. I totally agree with that one. Um, Indirect, metaphorical, or connecting kind of conversation is always. That's
Yeah.
why I think we say that we are playing storytelling with the children, because that's a kind of way of explaining and understanding that yes, this is the problem, this is how we're gonna do it, this is the purpose behind it, or justification behind it. You tell me what you're going to choose. You're going to choose to play this or not play this. So
Correct.
that way we can make a kind of apt conversation. So very well said, Priya. And also, I really like the your point towards spending limit. In my opinion, it's not only about the spending limits. Like, um, that's one thing, but on the other hand, how we are teaching or making our children aware of the budgets. I do
Correct.
have like $1,000 in
True.
my pocket right now, but I want my child to make a wise decision when to spend those $1,000 and how to spend those. Is it really worth to spend $650 on that Nintendo, or is it worth to spend that at later some stage for something else better or meaningful purpose, and when to do it,
Budgeting is
how to
something
do
we
it.
can always teach them. Sorry to cut it off, but
No, no,
budgeting is
that's
something
all
we
right.
can teach them, and as how it is helpful to the child. What are the things? It's very important for the child to understand.
Yeah,
That something understanding more gets clear as they grow older.
yeah,
Um, so if like say from primary to secondary, they have a better and good understanding of budgeting.
yeah, yeah, that's right. In between our conversation, we have one of our comment on our discussion. She's saying she's from that's from Ashwini. Ashwini is saying probably very unusual for today's day and age, but my 14-year-old has never ever asked for Nintendo, Xbox, or PlayStation. We don't have any at home because the older one does not play, the younger one never asked either. So I would say this is an example of positive peer influence, isn't it?
Correct.
Nitika,
Yes.
what do you
Yes.
think?
As well, it depends on parenting, that how do you parent your child. So
Yeah,
and thus the brother to sister influence and sister to brother, brother to brother, sister to sister influence is always there. So yeah, I do see that in at my home all the time, all the time.
yeah, true.
That's right. And I'll say that the parents, yes, it's not just about any gadgets, but when we're talking about an peer pressure, it could be any peer pressure, and that certainly sometimes trap the kids.
Yeah,
So the person who has said that the 14 years old child has never asked for any gadgets, I'll say that's really good. And as a parent has raised a child very well, and the
yeah,
child has also had a good understanding of those things. Probably they might be talking about those things in the schools, but maybe had understand about the parents and might not have spoke with the parents in that case. Two things could be possible, that as Nitika said, that yes, the siblings love siblings has how my brother sister is doing and acting certainly helps. For me, I'm just talking my example, not about the others. I have two kids, right? My daughter in uni now and my son in primary now. So my daughter never played any of those gadgets. She never demands. She's a very cool, calm girl. Goes to schools, come backs, and do her work and things like that. She never ever demanded anything. She goes to the friend's place, plays with them, talks with them, plays outside, goes for a walk and things like that. Whatever the person has as a friend at her place, she plays those things. But with my son, it's really opposite. He's always like in a peer pressure. He's like, okay, I want this, I want that. Now today I need this, today I need that one. So sometimes uh, kids also looks at the others in the schools as well, but at the same time, yes, they also look at what the siblings were doing it.
Yeah.
Comparison is there as well. So many things are there for that just inspires the kids, and that sometimes influences the kids in the other way around as well. So it's
Yeah.
that parent has really shared a very nice thing that their child never asked for so and so things. And I'll say, really, I would really like to say that you have a really nice parenting, and certainly something to be appreciated.
Yeah, no, 100%. So if I can just summarize all these Netika's and Priya's points on this particular question, I think it's a matter of open communication for the strong relationship, as Priya rightly quoted strong relationships. So open communication, and number two is developing kind of critical thinking. Why we need or don't need, or why we do need to talk about it, like all the aspects of what if scenarios. That's a little bit of crux I could drive out from both of your points. Am I right?
Yes, Pooja. And just like giving an examples with the kids will help them. So just with an examples, not something a direct approach, but an
Yeah,
indirect approach with an examples, as probably sometimes giving an example of our own life to the kids. So might
yeah,
help.
yeah. So I would add role play.
Role
Role
play,
playing,
correct.
modeling
Yes.
is a kind of word that we can use. So
Yeah.
open communication, developing critical thinking, and role modeling. These are the three keywords that I drive from this conversation.
Yes. Certainly. I agree.
Good. Thank you. Before we move ahead, I would like to ask all the divas who are watching us live in this moment, what experiences, not experiences actually, what are the signs that you have seen as a matter of negative influence? Would like to know about your thoughts. Is there any behavior change? Is there any unhealthy habits? What exactly, if any, have you seen as a matter of negative peer pressure? This time it is pressure. How should adults respond in these situations? As a mom, what is your first point of action? What are you thinking? How you're planning to deal with this? Do let us know about your thoughts or any questions if you have in that matter. Please write us. In between, I'm asking the same questions to you, Nitika. What do you think? What are the signs that a child may be experiencing when a child is going through a negative peer pressure?
Yes, so if a child is going through a negative peer pressure, most important thing is his behavior.
Yeah,
If he is in aggression, and if you see abnormal behavior, like sometimes if they shout, they repel for small things, and then if their eating pattern changes, they like particular food, they don't like, they start disliking that food. And then if their sleeping pattern change, they are not able to sleep properly, they get up early, cannot sleep long. So these are the few things I think, mom, as a mom, we should take care of,
yeah,
like to know if they are under some pressure.
yeah. Okay. And what should an adult, like even as we are talking about moms, what should we be doing or thinking in that situation? What's the kind of your first level of advice that we should
So
do?
in that case, I will definitely, like, first of all, talk to your child. And there should be a heart to heart conversation. So here I would like to add a point that you should be always, the child should be open enough to you always to come to you.
Yeah.
Like he can speak any topic, anything, and he should know. One thing, like as personally as a parent, we want to incur in a child that every problem has a solution.
Yeah.
So, and sometimes feel fortunate enough because my elder one, whenever he is in some problem, something going on, work pressure, something, he just come back to me and asks for a solution. And that feels, I feel fortunate for that, because then he is open enough and coming back to me, and that can be like that is because they have always been in a positive environment. We have
Mm-hmm.
accepted them as they are, loved the kids unconditionally, and hence the consequences, like the positive ones.
Yeah.
So so first of all, when this type of environment is there at home, you would not face that. But if
Yeah.
you face that, then the child, the only thing I need to say, like I like to say here, is that you should um child should be open enough with you to talk and share whatever he is going through. So
Yeah. And
and
I
that,
think, yeah, you said it very rightly. Child should be able, like, kind of open communication that we have been talking about. Um, I think that would happen only when you are talking on a friend level, when you will be listening to them as a parent, and probably asking them all the whys, like why you didn't do this, why you did this, why this, why this not. Then probably it becomes a kind of judgmental environment. And if we foster a judgmental environment, that's what you're going to get back. You're going to get back the same bounce back. No discussions. The child will start showing all the risky behaviors, all the negative consequences that you actually highlighted. But in addition to communication, parent mindset needs to be just relax, be friend with them in that moment. Is
very
it?
true. I agree with
Yeah.
you, Pooja. I totally.
Nitika's point is correct, and I'll absolutely say that what she said is true.
Yeah.
But sometimes, as a child, they might not like to disclose with the parents, though we have a good relationship with the child, so anything like that. But sometimes they might be hesitated to come to you and talk to you as a parent or something like that. I'll say that there are so many other different ways in case if we as a parent find that our child, something is negative happening in our child. Like she gave an example as not talking or sleeping pattern or not eating properly or just went silent from like bubbly to the silent and things like that. I will say always the first thing is that probably talk to the school teacher.
Yeah.
If school teacher might know something that has happened
Mm-hmm.
between the kids at school, they might find the solution, and things like that. There are the other consultations as well that just this is just a case in case if we have different, like just not something in a smaller way but just in the higher level, if there's something that happens, then there are the consultations as well. Because otherwise, if the negativity is not solved in the kids, they might feel an anxiety, and anxiety is something that's very worst. So
Yeah.
yes, definitely to sort it out either with the consultations or with the school teacher. I know one of my friends says that she her child has somebody as a favorite person, Now, that favorite person could be anybody, could be grandparents, could be uncle, aunt, or could be your own friend or anybody, you know. So sometimes it's also a good idea for the child probably to live at that comfort zone with them, and maybe the other person can talk to the child and find out that what's troubling to them, why is it not something working with them, so, and might find the solution in that case. Because as a teacher and as a parent, if I look at my perspective for my little one,
Yeah.
we say, why you behaving like this? But sometimes they are so much in the under peer pressure that they don't like to talk. They start doing the tantrums and they start doing it all those things.
Yeah.
So sometimes like small steps towards making them more comfortable might help a child in a better person, better adult when they grow up as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with both of your points, Nitika and Priya.
And one
Um,
more point, Pooja, I want to
yeah,
add here
yeah,
is that you should always show trust in children, like
Yeah.
not by your words, by your actions.
Yes.
yes,
I think that is very important
yeah,
thing to do.
yeah, no.
Absolutely.
Um, I recently had three clients, not like yesterday, but in the last few months. All of them aged 13, 14, 15, and all of them girls. Um, it was so painful for me as a parent to be in that session because all I could hear was the cry. And the
Oh.
cry was just one example I will share with you. The cry was, my friend this, she was my friend. She she was friend with this person, and this person did this to this, and that's why she stopped talking to me. And it has not happened one time, it has happened over the period of time throughout the throughout the year. That girl I'm talking about recently shifted from primary, like year 6 to year 7, primary to high school transition. So as it is, that girl was going through a lot of changes in the friends from primary to high. Not all of them were same. Plus at the same time, the friends that she made was not coping up because of XYZ reasons. And the whole session, rather than explaining me the problem, she was simply crying all the time. It was so painful and heartbreaking for me to see and go through that kind of session and problem, because I think it's happening everywhere. And in my understanding, I can see it's more of the materialism that is happening. Nowadays, children are becoming very focused on the material possessions, like the gadgets, latest fashion, latest movies. You talk about Barbie, and most of the girls, most of the boys have seen it nowadays. And then they are going with their own plan, with their own gang. I'm wearing pink coat, I'm wearing pink dress. So this is just a trend that everyone is following in the moment. And if it is all about materialism, this is probably leading to the feelings of inadequate, like I'm not adequate, I can't do, I can't deal, anxiety, depression, and all sort of that negative behaviors that we as a parent see. So one suggestion other than what you two have already done added, that was so apt. In addition, I would say just plan a little bit of gadget free time as well. Just try to put yourself or put yourself first, because we as a moms, as a dad, as a parents have all these time the devices at home. We are like this. Yes, 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 this is happening. This is happening. Oh, yes. Ha, ha, ha. We are listening, but then we are on the phone. We are listening and then we are phone. This is the modeling we are doing with our kids. We just need to keep it aside and then start listening with them, being with them in the moment, to start coming out of that materialism loop in the context of negative influences. Is it right? Would you agree with that?
Yes,
Yes,
Pooja,
please.
I
Yes, yes.
I agree.
Certainly.
I do agree because I had made a point somewhere. It got missed to talk about, and it was I heard somewhere on an audio once that talk to your kids with your eyes along with your ears.
Hmm.
So that was very relevant and very apt thing I heard, and I make it a point that I make eye to eye contact while I talk to the kids. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's good.
No,
Um,
that's right. And absolutely. Like I would just say that whatever is there, um, always talk to the kids. Let them just make them comfortable wherever they are, whatever they think is comfortable with them, and talking with them often, more frequently, getting them settled. Let them do what they love to do whatsoever, so that more they are satisfied, more they are settled down, more they are confidence,
yeah,
and all those things will probably start settling down by itself. Because of course the bullying abuses is are there pretty much everywhere, but then they need to come out of it with the
yeah,
help of the parents, for 100% sure.
yeah. No, totally agree with that one. In between, we have a couple of comments. Sorry, I'm trying to bit on the other side of the screen as well to read the comments all the time. So one of our lovely diva has said couple of points. One, she said very valid point. Another one she says is, I try to follow this, not that it's easy. Hats off to my parents who followed this approach, and I can speak to them about anything, anytime. Another one is, in today's era, there's so much exposure to technology and different mediums. I feel there are many more ways and avenues for children to speak about. Would you like to add on anything on that one?
Yeah, exactly. Like conversation, as I said, consultations is there. There are so many different forums online, and probably there are so many different ways that parents have any confusion, they can always look up on the internet. So many different ways are there. I will always say that first thing, not just in the high school, but if your child is in primary, always go and talk to the teacher first.
Yeah.
So, and that could be the teacher, uh, any teachers is not school teachers is always the first mode of communication. But if they know any other teachers like the dance teachers or any music teachers or anybody like that, then just explain to them, because everyone way of communication is different, everyone is in the different way. If any parents comes to me and says that probably this is not working well with the child, then me as an educator personally, I don't approach straight away, but then I certainly find out the ways to deal with the child,
Yeah.
give them some more inspirations as well, and ask them that's what's not happening. And then I tell the parents that okay, in the school this is something has happened, or maybe at home this something has happened, or probably with the siblings something has happened. So there is always a way and the solution out for it. The first thing is, I'll say, just teacher will be the best person to talk, as they knows the child when they go to the school probably 5 days in a week.
Yeah, that's right. Most of the daytime is spent with the teachers in their in that company. So definitely a good point of contact for the parents as well. If I quickly talk about a couple of tips or the suggestions that you can advise how we can foster an environment in our homes, particularly that cultivates individuality, reduces any kind of negative peer influences, or even suspectability of the negative peer influence. What are your thoughts and tips on that front? Let's start with you, Netika.
Yes, it's a very wide topic. Lot we can speak a lot about in that,
Yeah.
but yeah, I would like to add here 2 points. So one most important thing is we should be example for our kids. Like if
Mm.
you ask your kid to do something, they won't do it. But when they see you doing that, they will adapt to that change for sure.
Yeah.
Even it might take a bit longer, but they
Yeah.
will do that. So I'll give you an example here. Nowadays, kids, like when they grow up, they feel what their friends are doing and saying is the best for them,
Yeah.
and it's with everyone. So my elder one, as he got his first job in his field of studying, so my husband asked him to make a LinkedIn profile and go connect with people. Networking is very important. We just
Yeah.
shared an example, but still he was like, he created his profile, but he didn't wanted to connect with lots of people. But
Okay.
then after few days, now he has been working for 6 months in the same company, and he wants, of course, he wants more, and he wants to switch over. And then he came to me one day and asked, like, how can I? And I said, network, network,
Yeah.
network. And now I can see him going on LinkedIn because his dad and myself are so active there. So he will just go and likes the post and try and find someone in his network.
Yeah.
So like it's like more like when he saw us doing that, instead of, because he was initially new and he didn't wanted to do anything, but now,
Yeah.
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 So that is one example. And just a moment. Did I lose connection?
I can hear you, but I think your video has stopped working, so I
Uh,
can't see your
you
beautiful face.
Skype. Make sure you have the right camera selected. Oh my god, I
Um,
don't know. Anyways, I'll keep
that's okay.
talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and also we as a parent should keep ourselves first in a positive, uplifting environment that help us learn and grow every day. That
Yeah.
is more important because it does affects our kids in long run. So I'll share that example as well with you. A few days back, just last month, my younger one, he had a radio interview, and he was asked, it was a radio interview, and he was just asked a question. It was not prepared, so ad hoc, the lady was questioning him and he was answering the questions. So he was asked that what message he wants to leave for the kids that are listening to him. And I was like, 1 minute, I was like, what will he answer to this question? And he answered, be what, for the kids, he answered, be what you want to be when you grow up. And what he said, and fulfill your dream, and fulfill your dreams. That's what he said. And so it
Okay.
was like, I was shocked, like, where did he hear this from? And
Yeah.
so I can make out that it does have a like compounding effect every day. What you hear and learn
Yeah.
does makes
Yeah.
difference in your life, and
Yeah.
it can combat peer pressure and everything, negative peer pressure and everything. We can protect our kids from that, for sure.
Yeah. That's right. So kind. Be with them, do with them is a
Yep.
kind of your mantra that you are suggesting
Yes.
all the moms out
Yes.
here.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you, Priya.
No, whatever she said, I absolutely said what she has said is correct. I'll just say in a brief one that spending quality time with kids
Yeah.
will be more better. Playing with them, whether it's going outside, playing with them, whatsoever, and just whenever they need you, just be there for them. So
Yeah. True.
just be
Um,
there for them, so just be there. It doesn't matter. We don't want to say, oh, I'm busy or anything, like, unless you are busy, then that's good. But night time, or if you can give the quality time to them, that's one of the best thing that I will say you should do as a parent.
no, that's a really good one, Priya. Thank you so much for sharing this wisdom. And finally, you are back, Nitika.
Yeah, I just
Great.
started
No,
it.
that's really good. Look, I think we tried to pass on the right message to our audience, and I would like to hear your tips, your experiences to all the divas who are listening this or watching us live in this moment as well. Or maybe if you replay, you can just say hashtag replay and share your experience or tips with us in the comment section with us. We are also evolving. I'm learning every day with you all. So one experience, one tip can change anyone's life out there. So, but I really like the keywords that I will repeat: open communication, kind of critical thinking that we discussed earlier, role playing, role modeling, being with them, being involved, spending quality time, and also kind of little bit suggestion is avoid gadgets, which is a part of quality time, I would say. So, if you start including these as a part of your everyday home environment, home rituals, then definitely you can influence your child positively before your child gets influenced negatively from the outside world. So, with this one conclusion, I would leave you all divas to share your experiences and tips in the comment section. And thank you so much, Netika and Priya, for joining us. It was really wonderful listening to your examples, stories, your personal like your children, how they behaved in different stages, what are the positive influences that we can create. It was totally worth of the time that I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'll be honest with you. So thank you so much again.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Pooja, for having us on board. And it's really a pleasure to be a part of this discussion. It was such a lovely conversations, and yeah, looking forward.
Yeah, no, 100%. And before you go, before we all disperse into our back to our grind for the evening schedule and everything, if you have any health coaching relating questions or advices, please feel free to speak with Nitika. And Priya, as you have already seen her profile on the event section, she's our Bacchus expert. So get in touch with her if you want to arrange something for your kids in a Bacchus. So definitely the right pointers out here for you. All right. Thank you very much and see you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.